penalty kick.
What's going on, my fellow wish makers and cartoon fanatic? Welcome back to the channel. If you grew up in the early 2000s, chances are your childhood was sprinkled with a little bit of magic, a whole lot of green and pink, and the unforgettable adventures of Timmy Turner and his furry Oddparents. It was crazy, it was hilarious, and it had a surprising amount of heart. And recently we got news of a new animated series, The Fairy Oddparents and New Wish. But even with the animation back, does the new show understand the very soul of what made the original so special? Get ready for a dose of truth, because we're not just comparing art styles, we're talking about the very foundation of the premise, the core reason why anyone would need magical fish and a pink wand wielder in the first place. And I'm here to tell you why. In my opinion, the original is way better, and why a new wish might just miss the point entirely. Let's dive in. Let's start with where it all began, the OG, the classic animated fairy Oddparents. What made Timmy Turner's situation so compelling, so relatable, and so necessary for him to have fairies? His existence by almost all accounts was miserable. Timmy was a 10-year-old boy who was profoundly neglected by his clueless, self-absorbed parents. They would jet off on bizarre vacations like yak hunting in Nebraska, often completely forgetting he existed, leaving him with his sadistic monster babysitter Vicky, whose sole purpose seemed to be making Timmy's life a living hell. She inflicted physical and emotional torture, stole his money, forced him to do endless chores, and treated him like a disposable nuisance. School wasn't much better. His unhinged, fairy-obsessed teacher Denzel Crocker constantly trying to expose his magical secret, often giving him F's for just daring to breathe. This wasn't occasional bad luck, it was a constant fundamental state of despair. And this, my friends, was the crucial element of why he got fairies. According to the rules, the strict magical code governing fairy world, famously obsessed over by Johann von Strangle, fairy godparents are assigned only to children who are generally miserable, neglected, or in desperate need of magical intervention. Timmy earned Cosmo and Wanda through his sheer, unadulterated suffering. This grounded the show, giving every wish a clear justification and a relatable emotional core. Escapism from an escapable reality. The show's humor stemmed from Timmy's desperate, often ill-thought-out wishes backfiring spectacularly, creating even bigger messes that then he had to unwish. The animation was vibrant, boundless, allowing for incredible visual gags and wild magical transformation. It was a perfect blend of crazy comedy and genuine childhood struggles. Now let's turn our attention to the new animated series, The Fairy Oddparents: A New Wish. In this show, Cosmo and Wanda have moved on from Timmy, who has apparently grown up, and their new charge is a 10-year-old girl named Hazel Weld. Hazel's family has recently moved to the city of Philadelphia because of her father's new job. On top of being in an unfamiliar environment, it is also her first time she is without her older brother Anthony, who has left for college, leaving her feeling lonely and unsure of herself. This is presented as her justification for getting fairy godparents. And here's where, for me, A New Wish immediately, fundamentally, and irrevocably breaks the core tenets of the original series. While moving to a new city and missing an older sibling that is going to college can be absolutely challenging, lonely, and make a kid feel unsure of themselves. That's a normal yet tough part of growing up for many children. It's a far cry from the profound, systematic misery, neglected, outright abuse that qualified Timmy for fairies. According to the rule, this isn't just nitpicking the plot point, it's about the narrative, integrity, and emotional resonance of the entire Fairy Oddparents universe. The reasons fairies exist, the very foundation of their magic, and their limitations is to help children suffering from extreme neglect and unhappiness that cannot be solved by normal means. It gives the wishes weight and consequences because they were born from genuine desperation for a better life. With Hazel, that crucial need is largely absent by the original standards. If simply moving to a new town and missing your brother is enough to get wish-granted magical beings, then literally half the kids on the planet will have fairies. Where's the consistent threat of a malevolent babysitter? Where are the parents who consistently endanger their child through sheer obliviousness? Where's the teacher trying to dissect your imaginary friends with a scalpel? This radically lowers the misery bar and dilutes the specialness of having fairy godparents. It makes the rules feel arbitrary and contradictory. If the threshold for receiving fairy godparents is so low, why aren't there fairies everywhere? It fundamentally misunderstands what made the original show premise so brilliant and long-lasting. It takes away the core emotional justification and the high stakes. While it's great that Duran Norris and Susan Blakesley are back to voice Cosmo and Wanda, the core shift in A New Wish is glaring. The original humor often came from the extreme, often painful consequences of the wishes and how they spiraled out of control from Timmy's genuine flight. If the starting point isn't as desperate, the emotional payoffs of the wishes and the ensuing chaos just feels less impactful. The original Fairy Oddparents wasn't just a cartoon. It was an escape for many kids who felt lonely, a little misunderstood, or maybe just had that one annoying older sibling or babysitter. Timmy Turner's life was generally tough, and that's why we rooted for him. That's why every wish, every chaotic consequence resonated. It was a wish fulfillment fantasy born from a relatable orphan-style reality. The Fairy Oddparents, A New Wish, despite being animated, seems to have fundamentally altered the very essence of why fairy godparents exist. By giving fairies to a child who, by the show's own established lore, doesn't meet the criteria of profound misery and neglect, it strips away the unique, heartfelt premise that made the original show iconic. It feels like a show that forgot its own the rules. So while Cosmo and Wanda might be still granting wishes, for many of us the true magic, the inherent necessity, and the undeniable heart of the Fairy Oddparents truly belongs to the original, miserable, pink-hatted kid. Everything doesn't have to be remade. If it's not broken, don't fix it. Maybe I'm just being a hater. Maybe I'm just being an old man. Maybe I'm just calling it how it is. What do you think? Does a New Wish premise make sense to you? Or do you agree it misses the point of why Timmy needed Cosmo and Wanda? Let me know in the comments below. If you're a true fan of the OG, hit that like button, subscribe for more nostalgic dives and critical takes, and ring that notification bell so you don't miss my next video. And remember, if you just moved and you miss your bro and you feel slightly uncomfortable, some magic fish might be on the way. And thank you to my 222 subscribers. I appreciate every one of y'all. And even if you're not subscribed and you just tuned in, I appreciate you too. I'll see y'all later.